And he's like, well, hold on. I was gonna box that up and take it home to my kids. What do you mean you're gonna take it home to your kids? I hated customers.
So
I hated
Just
customers.
let them-
So you can choose one thing. You can either fly, you can read minds, you have infinite garlic bread, or your dog never dies or gets sick.
Pokemon Challenge just said something really, really smart in chat, which is that you could
Don't
just
say
have
garlic
infinite...
bread empire.
No, because then you could just sell garlic bread for forever. Hello.
Okay, but if you could read minds, I'm pretty sure if you're trying to make money, that's probably going to be more profitable.
Okay, that's true. But I don't know. You get like if you could try to gamble and stuff. You can't read cards or count cards. So you can't count cards. That's a thing, right? If you
Well, if
could
you
read
play
minds,
poker,
they
you
wouldn't
could
let
do
you. You're allowed to count cards when you play poker?
No, okay.
I don't even know what that means. I've just heard of it.
In blackjack,
Mm-hmm.
do you know how blackjack is played?
Absolutely not. I know how poker's played, kind of.
So in blackjack, your goal is to make 21 in front of you, right?
Okay.
In blackjack, counting cards just means kind of like trying to keep track of which cards are already dealt. So you know, like, the chances of getting a card that'll give you, like, 21 in front of you. So let's say, for instance, you were keeping track of the cards that was dealt. Let's say that you've seen, like... Let's say in a normal deck, let's say there's only 5 face cards, and let's say there's 20 normal cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that you've been counting cards, and you've seen that, like, 19 non-face cards have been dealt, and no face cards have been dealt, and you have an 11 in front of you. That's the total value of your cards, right? Well, you know there's a really good chance that the next card that comes up is going to be a face card. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all counting cards means.
But it's not allowed?
No. Blackjack is a game where if you play it quote-unquote perfectly without counting, the odds are usually 49.5 to 50.5 in favor of the casino. If you count cards, then the odds will favor you. If a casino feels like you're counting cards, they'll kick you out because they don't want to lose money on their table games like that.
But how are you supposed to, like, if you're intelligent and you just kind of do that,
Mhm.
how, A, how do they find out? And B, how are you supposed to stop yourself from counting them? If it's like, you're just smart, you're intelligent.
So there are standard ways to play perfect blackjack, assuming you're not counting cards. There are moves that you're supposed to make every time you bet. Let's say that you're counting cards, okay, and you are trying to make money. Like, one thing that you're going to do in order to make money is that when the count is in your favor, meaning that you know that a lot of non-face cards, for instance, have been dealt, so you know that there's a lot of face cards left in the deck, you're going to adjust the bet sizes. So like a really stupid way to count cards might be you sit at a table for 4 hours, you're playing $5 hands, then that's it, and then out of nowhere, you start betting like $200 a hand or something.
Okay.
Like, okay, this dude is fucking counting cards. It's obvious, right? Because you're varying your bet size so much when the count is in your favor. And then as soon as they do like a new shoe, they like shuffle all the cards again or whatever. Now you've gone back to your old bet sizes, right?
Okay.
In movies, I think they show this in movies. There is a card. Wasn't there a movie called 21 with the Kevin Spacey guy, I think? A really smart way to count cards is one way you can do it is you have a guy that just sits at a table min betting. So he bets like the least amount. And he's a guy that keeps track of the count for you. And then as soon as the deck is hot or the deck has like a very favorable count, then you signal a friend to come in and start betting really big. And then once they've made a lot of money, once the deck gets cold again, but like they reshuffle it or whatever, after that friend's made a lot of money, they get up and leave. That's like one way that you can kind of like work with a friend to count. What?
That spotting is what you're talking about, and that's been caught on too. They have entire departments. They call them surveillance departments. There's training to watch for these people.
Yeah, and there's like the surveillance shit that exists in casinos today is crazy compared to what was back in like the 90s and shit. So I don't think you could get away with that anymore.
Sorry, I came in because I used to be a blackjack.
Yeah, no problem.
Could you imagine if someone could read minds and they were just like, they won every single hand, they won every single game?
You wouldn't be
Like-
able to play.
Well,
Do you
like,
think that every single place would just ban you because you're too good?
I mean, for
There's casinos that ban you that you don't even have to be counting. If you take too much money from a casino, they'll back you and ban you from playing. It's happened in my casino.
yeah, casino can ban you for any
Really?
reason. If you start like trashing people at poker, I don't think you'd get banned because
No,
casinos
because
don't.
the casino doesn't lose money.
Yeah, they don't care about poker because poker tables aren't even really good for a lot of casinos to have. They'd rather have slots there or table games at least, but they make money on a rake. But if you beat other players during poker, it's different because that's not against the house. The casino's not losing money there. Only other players are.
You know the slots even though it's like generally known that they're the worst odds. They're like 15 to 20% on average in favor of the casino. Yet the vast majority of money that comes to.
Wait, can you talk like? Why is your mic at like no volume?
Oh.
Yeah, jack that shit up.
Is that better?
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
It's a lot better.
Yeah, because slots have the worst odds in every casino in the world. Slots are by far the worst odds.
Compared to
they
table
make
games,
the
yeah.
majority of the money. Yeah.
Yep. That's why
it's like the whole microtransaction thing. Like 90% of the wages come from 10% of the players.
Yeah. When you're building a casino for like per square foot, like slot machines are by far the most profitable thing you can have in there. And then table games do okay, and then poker rooms are pretty shit. That's why a lot of casinos like either won't have poker rooms or they're small as shit because they don't. Really
it goes
money.
by tiers. Like they start with slots, and if it makes enough money, or if it gets big enough, then they'll put in table games. And then if it gets to where they're just making a fuck ton, and they want to bring more people in for like hotels and shit, then they'll add like hotels and poker rooms. Have you ever heard of the illegal gambling rooms that run like they're all throughout Texas that do like it's a tertiary system based off credit. So you like buy credit and then you gamble with credit and then you can sell the credit back for cash and somehow it's technically legal.
Interesting. I haven't heard of that.
These happen all throughout Texas.
I know there are like a lot of, well, at least in Omaha, there are like underground card rooms, like that are just like flat out.
Yeah, those are everywhere here too.
Yeah.
95% of all play in bordering casinos in Oklahoma come from Texans. For some reason, Texans fucking love to gamble. It's in the state of Oklahoma, but 95% of play is Texans going over the border.
Is it illegal in Texas or something?
Yeah, it's the Baptist lobby group keeps gambling out.
It's like that It's like that in Omaha. There's a casino in it's called Council Bluffs. It's in Iowa. It's like right across the border, and like 90% of the people there are from Nebraska. But for some dumb fuck reason, Nebraska's casino is illegal, so all that revenue just goes right across the fucking border. It's so fucking stupid.
It's so fucking stupid. Like they think they're doing something to like help to keep it out, but if anything, they're just losing a ton of money that goes straight to that casino. Yeah, border casinos are historically like the largest. The biggest one in the world, like size-wise, is the one I used to work at. It's like from end to end, like over a mile long of slot machines, tables, poker, all sorts of shit.
Yeah,
they make a fucking killing. I worked in soft count, and I know just from slots alone, we'd average like $1.5 to $2 million on a weekend night.
Yeah. Casinos are so awesome to have like in your community because they have such a shit reputation that they have to put a lot of money into like roads and like state funds and shit to keep people on the good side. So like it's such a good thing to have.
It's nuts, dude. The second you cross over the Texas border where the roads are kind of shitty, it's like pure perfect pavement for like 20 miles because of the casino.
Yeah.
And I mean, casinos are shitty, and I get that people hate them, but how much money they put into the surrounding community so people see them more favorably is kind of like it makes it seem kind of worth it, man.
Yeah.
I've never been to a casino, but
it's so much fun.
How do you feel about capitalism?
There are problems with capitalism, but it's also there are problems with like literally any other kind of system that you could implement.
I hate being inside casinos. There are very few places that depress me as much as the inside of a casino. It feels like very It just feels like very hyper. The word that I use sometimes is like hyper capitalist. But it's like bright lights everywhere, no windows anywhere, no clocks. Everything is screaming, everything's in your face, everything's huge.
It's so degenerative.
But all the people inside are like miserable. Like it just feels like
bullshit.
You don't think so? When I see all those people doing another poll on the slot machine that are just sitting there smoking and drinking.
3 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, man. But during the weekends, those places are booming.
I don't know, man. I hate it.
I'm the exact opposite. My happiest place in the world is where the most sin is committed. Like if there was a place that had gambling, like drugs, alcohol, all that, like that's why I'm scared to go to Vegas. I think I'll fucking die, man. I won't ever leave, and I'll just like OD on coke on the side with some hooker on my dick at 3 a.m. in the morning after I just lost 10 grand in a Vegas casino.
Oh no.
Okay, have fun with your cute game.
Thanks, bud. Nothing says America like the 80-year-old smoking in front of slots at 4:15 a.m. on a Tuesday. Oh, fuck, wait, where did Wes go? It's casino story time. I think I've said this story a million times on stream. The most depressing thing I ever saw in front of my restaurant in the casino, lady sat on a slot machine for like fucking 3 hours or some shit. Old lady, she didn't win fucking shit.
What'd you ask me?
Oh, just like depressing casino stories. There was a lady that was sitting in a slot machine for like 2 or 3 or 4 hours, just putting money into it. Never won shit. She stopped. I don't know if you notice that like old people have like patterns and shit for how they know the machines work. It's all bullshit.
Yeah, and they're very Like they do, like they have weird knickknacks and they rub shit.
And just like weird
Really
dumb
fucking
shit.
weird.
Oh yeah, super superstitious. But I remember this lady got up and switched to a machine like across, like on the other side or like next to her, whatever. Another lady sat down at her machine and pulled like 2 times and won a jackpot. And the other lady came back saying that that was her money and started attacking her with her purse.
Oh yeah, I've seen shit like that all the time. The record from my casino was a woman didn't get up from a slot machine for 72 hours. And some guy came in for like 3 shifts in a row, and throughout the entire shift, and each time he came in, she was sitting in the same fucking place.
Yeah, damn. Have you ever had to...
I've seen...
Wait, how do you don't throw them out for like responsible gambling or whatever? Ooh.
No, do you think that's actually a thing? Like
Yes.
they say, hey, maybe you should stop?
Yeah,
I've never seen that happen in either casino I've worked at.
Oh shit. We had a girl, Christy the Asian girl. Oh my god. Okay. This is super depressing. We have this girl that was playing poker a lot. This girl is... Did you work at a Caesars property, or do you know who owned?
No, I worked at Windstar and Choctaw. They're 2 border casinos in Oklahoma.
Okay.
They're Indian.
So I worked at a Caesars property. So we had like the tiers. It was like gold. I think it was silver, gold, diamond.
Oh yeah,
and then it
we
was
all have
7
that
stars.
reward tiers.
Yeah. The diamond one means that you gamble at least $50,000 a year. This girl was like 20 years old and she had a diamond card and she played poker most of the time. It's really hard to get a lot of points playing poker because you don't put money in. But apparently she played like some table games or whatever. But like she was really young. Apparently this girl, no, she wasn't 20. She must have been 21 because she was allowed to gamble. Apparently this girl was like sucking people off in the parking lot for money to go inside and gamble, and it got to the point, and I heard stories, like everybody in the poker room knew everybody else, and I was friends with a lot of these guys. We played like on Fridays, like outside the casino. Apparently what this girl did was her parents gave her money for college. They just sent her money for college, and she took all of that money and she went to the casino and she never went to school. And her parents found out one day, and she was in the casino room. She was in the poker room playing, and she started having these breakdowns. And eventually, the people on the floor like pulled her out and talked to her, like, "Hey, listen, like we have to give you like a 12-month ban because this is too much." And she fucking started bawling, dude. She was like going crazy, like screaming that they couldn't kick her out, that it was bullshit, it wasn't fair, and they had to bring security and escort her out. And she was like screaming and crying because she wanted to come back in. And
Here
play.
they'll only ban you if you request it. Like
Oh,
they'll
yeah?
give you a ban if you ask for a ban, but we won't actually ban you.
We had to ban a 7-star lady. What was her name? Was it Ruth? I don't remember. Old lady. This lady. So 7-star means, I think, is it at least 200,000 a year gambled? I think. I don't remember. But it was a lot. 7 stars are our highest tier. What this lady would do is she would come into our restaurant. She would sit down and she'd order like a sandwich. And then she would ask for to-go boxes for a sandwich. She'd ask like one server, then another, then another, then another. So she'd get like 7 to-go boxes. Then she'd get bags.
Sell them?
No. She'd get a bag, and she would she'd carry all the boxes out like they were full of food, and she'd have like 3 bags. Then what she would do is she'd go and gamble for a little bit. Then she would get a comp, like to free food, to go to the buffet. And then she would go in the buffet. She'd get a fuck ton of food, sit down. Then she would open up her boxes from our cafe, and she would shuffle food into the. She'd start stuffing the box full of food. Yeah, and they caught her doing this, and it has to be like the casino VP or whatever, the lead host. I forget what they call him, but the lead host of the casino had to go and like give her a ban because of what she was doing.
Wait, but she played $200,000 a year, and they banned her for this?
Yeah. But I think it's because they
Fucking
realized
stupid.
that she had gambling problems too. Because if you're stealing food and gambling that much, like holy shit.
I mean, you should get all the free comps you want if you play $200K a year. We went for one night, and I put like 500, 700 in, and they gave us a double like bed suite for free. Like they give that shit out like candy.
Yeah.
Unless it's the weekends where it's like harder, but
For sure.
it's really not hard to get comp shit in casinos.
Not if you're playing a lot. Yeah, for sure. Make sure you
Have
guys
you ever
are.
been?
You guys should always be
worked in a
using
restaurant?
cards when you play at casinos. You get the fucking
Yeah.
cards. If you want comps, you need the fucking cards. Unless a table like host or whatever, or the host guys are specifically eyeing you, you're not gonna get shit if you don't have a fucking card to keep track of your play. It's so important.
And then you ask and you can lie about it. This is what I do. This is the pro strats, by the way. This isn't legal. This won't get you back. You lie about how much you put in when you switch tables. And if you get really high, like say you buy into one table for 200 and you get to like 500, before you leave, take that 500 to another table, give that 500 in because they'll log the points as in you bought in for 500. So every time you hit a new high and you're ready to switch tables, don't just cash it. At least go to a table, play like 1 or 2 hands because that's what we did that one night. So it looked like I had like 2.5K in buy-ins. So they gave me a free fucking room for it.
Yeah.
Have you ever you said you only worked in a restaurant, so you never dealt with like the patrons themselves like playing and shit?
Not while playing. No, I wasn't a dealer or anything. I worked in a restaurant.
Dude, I've been pissed on by drunk guys at tables.
Jesus.
Like literally?
Yeah, like he pulled his dick out at the table and pissed down, and it hit with a splash on my leg.
That's
I almost fucking murdered the guy. I was so mad at him. We've seen people fuck at slot machines. I didn't even report it. I just watched it. It was kind of hot. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, I had that before. Cool. 2 people. This was a guy. Okay.
Wait, you both watched?
Some guy.
Hell yeah, it was rad.
A guy and his girlfriend comes into our restaurant at night. Okay, and these guys are like, they're pretty fucking drunk. The girl's like sitting on the dude. I don't know if they were actually fucking up. She's like grinding or whatever. Guy, they come up, they order breakfast, they go to a table and they start fucking around or whatever. I really don't give a fuck. It's like 3 a.m. whatever. No, it wasn't 3 a.m. It was like probably 1:30, 2 a.m. The guy was like pretty drunk. They were both really drunk. Eyes super red. You could smell it really heavy on their breath. This guy, I drop both of their breakfast off. He gets a chicken fried steak and eggs. The girl gets like a 2-egg breakfast. Like 2 minutes later, okay, this guy comes up to me and he's like, yo, come over here. And I'm like, okay. And I go over there and he's like, what is this? And I'm like, what? And he's like, there's hair in my food. And I look and there's like a little fucking on the edge of the plate. There's like a little fucking hair. Now I look at this guy, okay, and he has a fucking goatee. My face is completely shaved. I have long ass fucking hair. It's very clearly from this guy's fucking face, okay? And I'm like, I can like get them to remake the meal for you. And he's like, well, no, dude, like this is fucked up. Why the fuck is there hair on my food? And I'm like, and like, I was kind of like, I guess I was younger and edgier and I didn't, whatever. I was like, whatever. And I was like, listen, man, like, this is not my hair. It's not my cook's hair. It's pretty clear this is your hair. And he's like, what the fuck? This is not my hair. Like, this is bullshit. And I'm like, it's your hair. If you want, like, I'll throw it away for you and give you money back, or I'll, you know, make you a new meal. And he's like, well, no, hold on. Like, I want you to, like, I think he asked for, like, a refund or whatever. And I'm like, okay, but I'm throwing your food away. I never give refunds and let people keep their food. That should trigger the fuck out of me. And he's like, well, what the fuck? So I'm like, all right, well, if you want to eat it, that's cool. I walk back up to the counter, and the guy eventually gets up. He stumbles his way to the counter, and he's like, I want to see your fucking cook. I know that this is his hair. And I'm like, I promise you, sir, this is not my cook's hair. And my cook in the back, Toby, he's like, hey, is something wrong with the food? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, this guy wants to see you, Toby. And Toby's like, okay. And Toby walks out front, and this motherfucker is balder than a fucking cue ball, dude. And he looks at him, and the guy looks at him, and he just fucking walks back to his table. Holy shit. Good ass fucking meme.
We had in casino smoke rooms, and like you could like go in with your key, and like it was stained yellow. It was disgusting. 100 people are sitting there smoking. We had one guy come in, a patron who just followed one of us in, and we literally just sat there for like 20 minutes and let the guy talk. And then security, no one reported that we know, bust in there and like yeeted this guy out of the fucking casino for it. We were actually like enjoying this guy because he just was hanging out with us talking. We were asking him stories or some shit, and the casino fucking threw the guy out. I miss you, Martin.
Wait, he was in an area where he wasn't supposed to be? Wait,
yeah,
it's
he was
Pierre's
in
birthday?
a worker room.
What do we have to give him? A dandelion. Okay.
I was trying not to interrupt.
Yeah, that's fine. Wait, so he was in a...
He just snuck in because you badge in, unlocks the door, and you walk in. He followed one guy in, and when he just sat down and started smoking with us. We just started talking about bullshitting, and then apparently, I guess someone who left reported it. And they, like 3 security guards came in, like picked him up by both of his arms, like fucking police with some tiny crackhead, and threw him out of the whole fucking casino for it.
Nice.
I miss that guy.
Did you ever throw out food when someone asked for a refund? I was the only supervisor. I always throw out food when people ask for a refund. I never let somebody get a refund from me and keep the meal. Fuck that shit.
You're such a petty bitch.
Fuck that. Yeah, I was petty. You better believe it. I hated customers.
so
I hated
Just
customers.
let them have
No,
it.
you know what the happiest moments of my life were growing up? It's when I was at that fucking restaurant, some customer was giving me attitude, and I was like, all right, well, fuck you or whatever. And the guy's like, I need to speak to the supervisor. And I said, I am the fucking supervisor. I am the law. What the fuck do you want? If you want to talk to my manager, come back in the morning. You want to email the VP of Food and Beverage? Here's his fucking card. Suck my fucking dick and get him a restaurant. Not exactly like that, but like, yeah, fuck customers.
You're just
yeah.
like angry because your life was miserable, so you want to make other people's
No,
lives
I'm
miserable.
angry because when prostitutes get fucked by customers, at the very least, the pimp comes out and defends them. In customer service, when customers are giving you attitude, you get bent over and fucked not only by the customer, but by all the fucking management too. Fuck that bullshit.
But it's so
as
easy
soon as
if
I
you give them
became
everything they want, they
fuck
want bitch.
that. Then no, they do. They
Yeah.
bitch about everything. They become entitled little babies. Some dipshit
really?
that's 50 years old thinks because he works 40 hours a week, he can come in here and treat me like shit. What? Because this dumb fuck lost all his money at a fucking slot machine? Fuck that bullshit.
Dude, my experience, it's so much easier to just give whatever they want, and we never faced repercussions for anything. So it's like, yeah, you can have whatever you want. Just hope you have a great day, dude. Just so you didn't have to get bitched at by your fucking like superiors.
And also, if something went wrong, right? Like if someone made a meal incorrectly, if you're gonna throw it out anyways, and you're gonna remake it for them,
You should at
you
least
might as
eat
well.
it.
Oh, if it's our mistake,
Yeah.
I'll let people keep it, of course. But if somebody wants a
Okay.
refund for some
Okay.
bullshit ass reason, so I had a guy once that came up. Some guy comes up and he's like, "Hey, listen, I ate your chicken fried steak and eggs. I ate it. I got food poisoning." I'm like, "Okay, like, we'll ignore the fact that you can't get food poisoning after 5 minutes of fucking eating something. But sure, if you want, like, I can refund the money." So went to the register, rang up the fucking refund. Walked over to his table, and I'm like, okay, well, like, here's your money back. And then I went to pick up the plate, and he's like, well, hold on. And I'm like, what? And he's like, well, what are you doing with that? And I'm like, I'm gonna throw away the food. And he's like, well, hold on. I was gonna box that up and take it home to my kids. And I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean you're gonna take it home to your kids? And he's like, well, just because it like hits one person the wrong way doesn't mean it impacts everybody. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? This is the level of degeneracy.
Dude, his kids get food poisoned, but it's not him. Fuck his
Fuck the
kids.
kids.
Speaking of prostitutes, you said something about a minute ago. Did you ever have an interaction with table rats?
What is a table rat?
So we had there was 5 or 10 girls that we'd see constantly every single night who would just scope out people who are playing higher limits, right? 25 plus, $100 plus tables. And they would sit down with them and like try to, smooth talk them, get money, get a free room out of it.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to tell them to leave, but we just get so fucking bored of the play that we would just like fuck with them, right? And then we would like try to instill discourse in their little like pseudo relationship that they're forming and just give hints that she's a gold digger and all that. And our whole goal was to get the guy himself to be like, fucking get out of here, you bitch. But a lot of the time it wouldn't work. And these guys would just funnel money just because the girl would sit there and say hi to them for 10 minutes. And then they would go gamble it all and lose it. But yeah, table rats are the most fun in casinos, dude. Prostitutes are so interesting.
Huh. I feel like at our casino, like, pretty much everybody knew everybody. So there were a few girls that, like, slept around a ton, but, like, everybody knew it. Have you ever heard of the Oriental Trading Company?
No. Sounds like something that came around in like the Revolutionary era.
I think it's a really big thing that sells shit to people or whatever. Fuck, I don't even remember what it was. It was a business in Omaha or whatever. But the owner of the Oriental Trading Company used to come into the casino a lot, and everybody loved him when he came in. There's a new chest, by the way, with a new sword in it at the floor that I just got to. Everybody loved this guy when he came in, though, because he he tipped a lot. Whenever anybody interacted with him, he would give him $100 bill. Like if you dropped food off at his table, if you did anything. Wait, what? Pierre likes dandelions. Okay, I'll go get one. Fuck.
Yeah, he's at the store.
But this guy ended up declaring bankruptcy because of gambling debts that he had to the fucking casino. I think it was after that we got a little bit more cautious about kicking people out if we felt like their play was irresponsible, because there was a lot of press surrounding that guy and his bankruptcy that I think reflected poorly on the casino.
Wes, do you like to gamble?
Oh, I love it.
What's the
Anything
most...
sinful is my most, like, I love to do. Anything. If it's against the grain of the norm, it's one of my favorite things to do.
Wait, real
Okay.
quick, do you guys see Pierre in here? Oh, here he is.
What's the most that you've ever won or lost? Either way.
That's actually the coolest story I have, is that I started gambling when I was underage, and I was 16, and I had someone, it used to be my mom, friends over the age of 18 that would go to the casino with me. And as long as you didn't get ID'd, you could gamble, right? Because it's an 18-up casino, so it's not like casinos where a lot of people know before you walk in, you have to come with your ID. Here, it's like if they come up to you and think you're underage. And I've always liked to look the same, pick the same build, so very rarely I'd get ID'd. When I was 16, I'd always play slot machines, and I'd have people with me who would cash out jackpots for me. And one night I hit 3 in a row. It was a 4,000, an 1,800, and a 1,200. So $7,000 before taxes. And then I would pay them 25% to cash it out for me, and then I would just keep the rest. I was a rich fucking 16-year-old.
That's a lot for 16.
Yeah, but then that's the thing, is when you win a lot in the beginning, that instills it in your brain that, holy shit, gambling's a blast. You can win so much money. So then you get in like a cycle. It took me like 4 years of gambling almost every weekend before I got out of the addictive phase of it.
But you gambled every weekend?
Oh, sometimes multiple times a weekend. Sometimes after school, I'd go to the fucking casino. My senior prom, instead of going with some girl, I was asked, and I said no to her because I wanted to go to the casino with my friend who had never been. I was like, I worked for the casino because I'd recruit other 18-year-olds to go to the casino with me. So I loved it so much. I want to go tonight. Desi, you want to go play poker with me?
Yeah, do you live in LA, buddy?
What shithole fucking... Have you been to the casinos out there yet?
Nope.
We went to one that I recommend called San Manuel, and that was fucking awesome. When I was visiting Hyphonics down there, that's probably the coolest casino I've ever been in. But again, I haven't been to Vegas. But I've lost. I don't know. I'd say lifetime I'm average. But we'd get addicted to just watching how much money we could see a single person lose in a night.
Yeah.
We saw one guy in just an hour and a half shift lose $76,000, and he was totally unfazed by it. That was the craziest part.
Dude, being in the
crazy.
Being in the restaurant and watching somebody like at the high stakes room next to us do like $1,000 to $5,000 hands of blackjack, like knowing that you're like sitting on like $10,000 of school debt felt like really weird. Like it's gonna take me like years of my life to pay off like my high school loans, and this guy's just gambling it on the nightly like next to me. It was
I used
strange.
to do the table. I learned strats from the table rats. This was before I met the table rats. I would like, if I ever sat next to someone at a slot machine who was playing fucking massive, I would chat it up with them. And I'd say like 10% of the time they'd hand me a $100 bill if I'd lose all my money on that slot and shit, dude.
Nice.
People love having someone to gamble with, it seems. Because it's naturally such a lonely thing, right? Yeah. So if you add social to it and then once you take it away, they're like, no, don't leave, dude. Here's $100.
Oh shit, sorry. Or
A poker dealer that was feeding reeds? Poker dealers shouldn't have any idea. I don't know what poker dealer would ever... Oh, like he was coaching some shittier player? Maybe. I know most poker players most poker dealers I know actually become good poker players just from doing it for so long. They learn from just talking to the people and doing it.
Really? I felt like every poker dealer that came and played, like when they were like off shift, was usually like a huge fish. Like they were usually pretty shit. Yeah.
I used to play a lot of house games and I enjoyed it. And the one house game where I felt like I was out of my water, like I was a fish out of water, was I played with all the poker dealers.
Huh? That's weird. Maybe it was just
maybe they became a poker dealer because they were passionate about poker in the first place. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. All I know is that when I saw a poker dealer at a table that I was playing, they tended to play like they were calling stations. They were very soft. They'd play a lot of hands. They'd call almost anything to the river if they caught any part of the flop, and they were never aggressive when they made hands. They would just check all the time. But I don't know. Maybe it's different. Your casino allowed the employees to play there? Yeah. Is that not normal? I think at my casino,
no.
Oh.
You couldn't play in the department that you were in. At one of them, you couldn't play at all. But then at the second one, like if you were a blackjack dealer, you couldn't play blackjack. If you were a poker dealer, you couldn't play poker.
Oh, weird. Okay. No, that was never like it at my New York casino.
And I thought there would be like, I don't know, like collusion or some shit.
I wonder if maybe it would look bad to customers.
Yeah, it's like you just dealt them shit cards and you come in there an hour later and take all their money again. Poker rooms are a lot of fun late at night for fights, though. That's half the fun of it. That's why I like to play poker at night.
It feels like a movie. When two people start fighting, you will almost within 10 seconds get like a circle of people around it watching, all at like the perfect distance away to watch them fight. It is crazy. Holy shit.
Yeah. I love watching people. I was also that guy in high school, though. I hated people that broke up fights. I'd much rather people beat the shit out of each other, because usually you're friends after it.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it go to physical altercation. I've seen a guy throw a stack of chips at someone, but he didn't react. He was like pissed, but he didn't physically fight him. But have you seen like there's some videos of like it's usually in poker rooms, not like casinos because the security will fuck them up, right?
Yeah.
But some at I've seen some World Series videos, high limit, where people would go batshit crazy. And I saw a guy get tased over it. It would happen at WinStar, the one I used to work at. I wish I was there.
Nice. One of the favorite things that I saw at the casino, older lady, not older, I shouldn't say. She was like in her 40s, is playing at she's playing at a 2-5 table. And there was a pretty big pot between her and like the table asshole. And this was like a pretty, I think by the time everything was in, it was about a $2,500 pot, I think. And he made a pretty big bet at the end. I think it was like $1,500 in, and I think he bet like $500 or $600. It was like ignoring like pot size, like it was a good amount of money for everybody at the table. And the lady thought about it for a little bit, and finally she thought about it, and she thought about it, and then she called him. And the guy was like, good hand, and she
got slow rolled.
No. He flipped his cards and he threw them in, and he played the board. And she nodded, and she's like, I knew you had nothing. And she mucked her hand. And the floor boss didn't let her pull it from the muck or anything, and the guy won the pot.
I would have too. You fucking idiot. Imagine someone showing you their cards and you still can't figure out what they fucking have.
I think she was so nervous. Her pulse was like throbbing so much from like the huge pot that she just wasn't thinking. Because she was just nodding at him and she just mucked her hand. What is mucking? Mucking means you throw your cards into like the discard pile basically. And you can't, you're not supposed to take them out after.
Oh my god.
So her hand was dead.
My favorites were from the dealers that would auto muck hands. It's like there's someone will lean back in their chair and
and they just reach forward
and they just reach for them and take them. I'm like, bitch, what are you fucking doing?
I had one person do that to me before. It wasn't an amazing hand, but it was like he did that for me. I was like, what the fuck? And I've always like my hands are always like I protect them with chips. Always protect your hands.
I got one of these chip protectors that I want to bring and just sit it on there. It's like, don't fucking touch my cards, asshole.
Don't touch my
It's like if I don't flick them forward or make any motion towards you, even if I lean back, you think that's a fold?
To be fair though, dealers are moving pretty quick, and like a lot of people will be in the hand. Some people have their cards like right on the fucking ring, and they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I'm in the." And it's like, "Okay, dude."
Wes, was the guy that peed on you angry at you, or was he?
No, he was just shit faced.
You ever get homeless people in your casinos?
No, security was pretty damn good about getting weirdos fucking out of there.
Our homeless people would come into the restaurant a lot, and you know how you could tell they were homeless? Because they would sit at a table. They'd come over, they'd come up, and they'd ask us like, "Can I get some ketchup for my French fries?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, sure," because you don't know what the fuck it is. You give them ketchup, and then later on, as you were cleaning up tables, you'd see that some dude emptied like 7 packets of ketchup on the table, and then emptied a bunch of your sugar packets for a coffee, and they just scooped it off with their fingers and ate it. I think my favorite casino story was we had a concert. There was like a little concert hall attached to our casino, inside the casino, and we had a concert. And they went to other departments to pull people for security. I say security, but it's like for you to stand next to some ropes and make sure like people don't like go in when they're not supposed to. And there was some guy. I wish I could remember the altercation. Our security guys were like pretty big though. Like the actual security guys were big ass fucking dudes, like the Rock, like massive dudes. Mm-hmm. And there was this guy that got thrown out for being drunk. And he was being talked to by people on the floor, like, hey, like you're a little bit over, you know, red light, all this bullshit. Like we're gonna have to like escort you out. We'll call you a taxi. And the guy was handicapped. He was in a wheelchair.
Hola, un bueno worker.
Whoa, hello.
That wasn't me.
Oh, and so they're talking to this guy. I think one of our big guys, I think his name was Steve. He's like calling a cab for this dude, and the guy in the wheelchair is like just sitting there. I mean, obviously that's all he can do, like kind of fuming, like really pissed off. He was like pretty belligerent, and the guy in the wheelchair slaps the security guy on the ass, and he says like, "Yeehaw!" And he fucking roller scoots himself out of the fucking casino, like max fucking speed. This guy just takes the fuck off.
Yeehaw. What?
And I couldn't resist. Yeah, it's like me and like 700 people. Like we walked to the entrance because like this is the funniest shit we've seen like all fucking year. This guy is like fucking zooming around in the fucking parking lot, like through cars and shit. There's like 4 dudes are trying to catch him. Like fucking screaming at him, and it's like the funniest.
No one wants to be the guy to tackle the crippled guy, right?
Well, the thing is
like grab the chair.
Those electric wheelchairs are pretty fucking heavy, but like this guy's like
just running people over.
Our security dude, he was so fucking mad after that dude slapped him. He looked like he wanted to fucking kill him, but oh my god, dude, they must have chased him in the parking lot for like 20 fucking minutes. Holy shit.
Sounds like Hark Dan in 30 years, dude. I can see him doing some shit like that.
Did they end up catching him?
Yeah, I think they did eventually. They called the cops or whatever. We couldn't watch for too long because we had work to do. We get in trouble if we stayed around. Last year was like an insanely high like record viewership, and then this year, I mean, if you've got new numbers, you could show me. But the last ones you had this year.